Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled debt, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name.
Rawhide! Hey, everybody, it's time for the Big C and Bigger T podcast.
Yeah.
Right, singing a little Rawhide straight from the Blues Brothers soundtrack. And anyway, Clint Clark, the one and only.
We're in the Iron Sheik shirt today.
Iron Sheik shirt.
Legend.
How in the world are you? Happy Valentine's Day, Clint.
Happy Valentine's Day. For all of you that don't know, we're recording this on Valentine's Day.
That's why we look so loving.
We are very loving.
Yeah.
And
I'm so loving, right?
woo, boy. And boys, I'm gonna go ahead and just give away the holy shnikes moment this week right now. Because we were arguing about this before we came on. And I tell you what, I'm still perplexed. It blows my mind that my main man, my brother from another mother, the man I once swam in a wave pool with at Wild River Country. And everybody goes, hey, y'all twins?
That's right.
You twins?
Hey, y'all twins?
You twins.
Twins?
We're not twins. Just because two large mammals are in the water, don't make them brothers. But ladies and gentlemen, Travis Johnson is single. And it blows my mind. As I put it on the outline, Travis, the catch Johnson, ladies. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but his DMs wide open. Like jump in there. He is
empty mailbox.
Completely. There's not a lot of competition right now. We shouldn't tell you that. You can jump in there. You're going to be the only one. You don't have to fight for his attention unless there's a golden corral nearby.
Well, Clint, I'm still holding out hope. I'm waiting to meet little Debbie. I heard she's not so little anymore. So,
and I tagged you in a thing. Speaking of little Debbie, I tagged you on a thing on Facebook that I just wanted to recreate. I wanted to steal this bit from a guy.
Yeah.
And you've shared his thing. I think I can't even. I think it's Matt Miller, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He went to Walmart and bought all the little Debbie ice creams and then did a taste test. I'm like, dude, we ought to do that.
That's right.
Just
an excuse to buy all the little Debbie ice creams.
They'll be in the fridge, and they'll be in the freezer, and I'll eat on them just every now and then.
That's right. Maybe that's the avenue this show should go, man. We should take it so we get to buy cool foods. We do the chicken sandwich challenge and the.
Well, I have a friend named Brandon Davidson, who's a stand-up comedian. He works. He's got a job in Texas, I think, for some nonprofit, but he also does stand-up comedy, and he's fairly successful with it. But him and another friend of his named Tyler, they'll go out places and they'll do what they call snack chat.
Yeah.
And they'll be sitting in the car, just a little 5-minute video, and they'll review.
Yeah. Which
I'm like, you know what? I may steal the bit, but I'm at least going to give you credit for it when I steal it.
That's right. There you go. See?
There you
go. I'll let you know I stole your handbag as I take it away from you.
Like, hey, I know a good idea when I steal it. So
that's right. Well, Clint, did you hook up the little lady for the Valentine's Day? Did you?
I did. She got her some candies.
Good.
Hard.
Good.
And plus, she got the greatest gift of them all: a relationship with yours truly.
That's right. Well, I did my son and grandson thing and sent some nice arrangement of flowers and candy to my mom and grandma. So I got a call today from them. They were tickled to death.
Yeah.
And happy to see the flowers show up. So,
So speaking of romantic endeavors, we have a follow-up to what we talked about last week.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our boy over in the plains at Auburn, Brian Harson.
Yeah.
Still has a job, Clint.
Still has a job. And I really thought that I really did think that, by this time next year there'd be an interim in place. I thought it'd be Kevin Steele. And no one would have blamed me for thinking that.
Yeah.
He did keep his job. We were talking a little bit about it before we went on. That his wife came out and said, I don't know, Sean, about it. It's a family friend. It really seemed like the Houston nut.
Yeah, the other girl, his wife has come out and said, look, I know this girl. She's come to my house. It's, I'm friends with her. She just does a good job at her job. And that's why she came from Boise State with us. There's nothing going on between them two. And, and we were, like you said, we were talking about how it reminds us a little bit of the Houston Nut deal when, everybody got his text messages, and there was several to a lady that was running a nonprofit that Houston was working with. And all of a sudden the rumors got out that he's cheating on his wife with this lady. Well,
now Houston had sent her like an alarmingly high number of texts.
There was.
I'm not sitting there saying, but you can see why people. But my thing was, if you were basically going to hire a bunch of coaches, you're going to hire somebody for the outside and say, look, I don't want you to totally destroy the program, but I want you to destroy Brian Harson's ability to recruit. This is exactly what they would have done.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they were. And that's the reason why I think firing Bob Petrino was the right call. And I'm not comparing Harson to Petrino, even though a lot of people were. They'd have pictures of Jessica Durrell and Harson's lady side by side, like say, hey, I got to give this one to Auburn, stuff like that.
There was no motorcycle involved.
There's no motorcycle, ex-boyfriend, anything, or current boyfriend, fiance, whatever. But no, he like Petrino, he would have had a hard time recruiting.
Yeah.
There'll be your guys, like people we know that just wouldn't have cared. But no, your parents.
Well, and what a lot of people don't realize was Petrino, I think we've talked about this before, but before he did what he did, he was already having a hard time recruiting.
Yeah, because he's a jerk.
He had already ticked off he treated players badly. And so he had already ticked off a lot of Arkansas coaches and other high school coaches from other places, and they didn't want to send their kids to him unless they were wide receivers.
If I'm not mistaken, he wasn't even allowed on North Little Rock's campus.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of stories out there about that kind of thing, that assistants were having to do all the recruiting because he was just bad. He was just a bad guy. Anyway, well, Clint, last night in La La Land,
it was a game, man.
It went down. Those Bengals came from Cincinnati, and they put up a fight. They
did.
They scratched and clawed, but in the end, the limping hurts, wounded Los Angeles Rams pull it out. Clint, one of their leading receivers was their third string tight end.
Yeah.
Their receivers were going down like crazy. They didn't have anyone to throw to. That last drive, everybody knew who it was going to because there wasn't any receivers left. And Cup did what Cup does, what he's been doing all year, what he did for one of my fantasy teams all year.
Cooper Kupp, who's played on the stripes at UCA. I mean, we've watched him play. I mean, he came from 1AA, FCS, whatever you want to call it.
It was great to see Stafford, win that. And, one of the things we were going to talk about is did LA win the Stafford trade? I would say, yeah. I would say, Goff still has a chance, but I mean, part of it is Stafford's finally on a good, solid team.
Yeah.
But it was good to see him win it. It was good to see him.
It was. I felt good for him, and I felt good for Whitworth. But here's the thing: is I think because the question the way I wrote it on the outline, did Detroit win the Stafford trade, or is the jury still out? And I would say that the jury. Well, I disagree with you. The jury's still out. Now I get it that they probably don't care in LA if they lose the trade because they got what they wanted. They wanted to. Yeah. They went all in this year. Like, we're going to win Super Bowl. They traded for Stafford, thought he was an upgrade from Jared Goff. Yeah. You would have to say he is, but I mean, Goff also got him to the Super Bowl, and I don't think Stafford played that much better than Goff would have.
Yeah.
But the thing is right now they've got the Lions got the 32nd pick in this draft. And I think the next year they also got the Rams first round pick. Mm. So you got to think, if they hit home runs with those picks, you could be, but
Clint, even if they hit home runs, they had Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. This is the team that had Barry Sanders. They're going to lose in every trade. I don't care who they trade for. They're going to lose. They're just bad owners. They're just bad.
You can tell them. You can say, look, you're going to lose. You're going to win this Super Bowl, and they're going to draft with the next 2 draft picks, future first ballot Hall of Famers. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're like, we don't care. We won a Super Bowl. They don't. LA, I'm not saying, I'm saying the jury's still out if the Lions lost, maybe, but the Rams got what they wanted. They wanted a Super Bowl. They went all in for the Super Bowl.
Well, I think the other thing is they got in Stafford, they got the right kind of leader and the motivation for the team to win because those other players wanted to win for him.
And I think people want to win for Big Whitworth too. I mean,
yeah. Well, and Aaron Donald and
yeah,
all the rest of them.
Now, speaking of Aaron Donald, have you ever seen a defensive lineman take over a game like Aaron Donald did?
Gosh. No, I have. And I think this is the only person in the history of the NFL you can compare him to. And if you're watching football right now, you need to realize the significance of who we're watching and how the impact he's having on the game as much as this other guy I'm going to tell you. And that's Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence Taylor had a huge impact on the game, on defense with, the speed rush. I mean, it changed. Everybody wanted.
Right.
Aaron, when he did what he did, Lawrence Taylor did what he did. Everybody all of a sudden wanted Lawrence Taylor. Okay. You had Charles Haley. You had Thomas at Kansas City. You had all these other guys, Julius Peppers. You have all these guys that come that you want speed, big guys, speed rushers that can dominate, right? And Aaron Donald is doing that for the nose tackle, 3 technique guys. He's coming in. He's not true size, but he's a pass rusher from the middle. Now you could argue Reggie White did the same thing. Okay, you could argue that, but even more so, I think the way Donald plays, and Clint, and I told you, we were watching. I was watching the game, and I got on Marco Polo, and I said, Donald's about to take this game over. And Clint,
he did.
A daggum 3 technique took that game over.
Yeah. Now, I was Googling the name because I wanted to be sure I got it right and I gave proper credit. But we also need to give credit to Raheem Morris, who's the defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
because now here's the thing is they weren't getting that pass rush the first bit. And this was with a terrible Cincinnati because they were doubling and they were tripling.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald ever played. So he started just blitz. He didn't like bring the house, but he's like, I'm going to blitz one guy. That way they had to free up Donald where he either got single teamed or double teamed. And it was brilliant. He still kept 6 back and he had 5. And so now you got to block Aaron Donald 1-on-1. And it just didn't work. The last 2 plays of the game, And I tell you what, Joe Burrow almost made a heck of a throw because he spun him out and he threw it at the guy. I mean, at least in the guy's general direction.
I know. They never showed on the replay how close it was to that guy, but on the play as it happened, man, it looked like it was close to that running back. Like I thought that dude just didn't put his hands up. I mean, it looked that close, but it probably wasn't that close because when they showed the replay, all they showed was Donald and him just dragging.
I'm going to give Burrow credit for even getting it off.
Look, Burrow played a great game, and he's whatever you think about his swagger and all that. I mean, he's the future, man. He is.
Hey, so I posted the next question is Cincinnati an offensive line away from being the best team in football?
You know what's so amazing about that, Clint? They got the oldest school owner there is.
Right.
Okay. That Brown family, I mean, the Cleveland Browns are named after the owner of the Bengals' daddy.
Yeah.
Paul Brown. Okay. And then he went down to Cincinnati, coached there, helped start that team. That family still owns it. Cincinnati does not even have an indoor practice facility for their players. They're in Cincinnati, Clint. Yeah.
Greenbrier High School has an indoor practice facility.
That's in case you didn't know your directions, that's up north.
Yeah.
You know what changes the farther north you go?
The
temperature. They do not have an indoor practice facility. I believe that's right. I could be wrong there. Someone's on their website and find pictures. But I heard a radio guy talking about that they and I thought about it. Here a few years ago they did them on what was it called? Hard Knocks.
Oh, sorry.
One of those top shows.
Yeah, I've seen. They've been on Hard Knocks a couple times.
And I don't remember them ever practicing indoors there.
Well, it's nice in the summer, Travis.
Well, that's true. But
I could Google this, but I've already Googled once. I limit myself to a strict one Google per episode.
Gotcha.
So
anyway.
No, but I think they are. I think Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's got an it factor. And I tell you what, the AFC, if I'm Cincinnati, I literally draft the best tackle available in the draft in the first round, regardless of side. And then I draft the best interior lineman at the end of the second round. And that's my first two picks. And then I just try to fill depth from there. Because
Clint, that's the natural way to think. But here's where Aaron Donald has changed the game. I might draft the best interior lineman. I'm going to draft whichever best lineman's there.
Yeah.
If I get a Quentin Nelson at that to put it right guard, then I'm going to get Quentin Nelson.
Yeah. You got a Frank Ragnow, Quentin Nelson, a great interior offensive lineman, because Ragnow can play any of the three interior positions.
But yeah, you're going to get the best lineman you can get. And that's what they're going to do. Because for one thing, that's the good thing about them being an old school owner. They're going to get the ball players. And especially now that they got something to build around. So, yeah. Now that, that last drive was
it was impressive.
It was impressive.
It was. What makes it even better is everybody knew where the ball was going.
Exactly.
Everybody did. There was no doubt about where that ball was going. That ball was going to go to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
OBJ, they believe tore his ACL, which you hate that, you work all your life to get to that moment. And OBJ was having a heck of a ball game.
Yeah.
He really was. And I think he's better because Stafford does better with a freelance wide receiver than, I think where somebody like Baker Mayfield wants to know where the wide receiver is going to be. Timing and feeling that's important. But so I think it was one of them, we've said this before, it was a rare win-win situation by just parting ways.
Yeah.
It just, because Cleveland got better, and obviously it worked out for OBJ because he's got a Super Bowl ring. So I hated it for him. But so he was out. They're down to like their third tight end. we'll get to Van Jefferson. I mean, Van Jefferson in
Yeah.
there about him. But so I mean, this right here was the go-to guy. That I did send you something about Cooper Kupp too earlier, and now I'm not Googling this.
Oh, the stats.
Yeah, I sent to you. He won the receiving triple crown, the Offensive Player of the Year, and won Super Bowl MVP. Jerry Rice, the only other player in the NFL history to do this, and he didn't do it in a single season. Cooper Kupp did it this season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he's had an amazing year. And like you said, everyone there knew, apparently, except for Eli Apple.
Yeah.
And going back to what what Cincinnati, what they're missing, what they need to be missing in Eli Apple. Of course, that guy is got taken a beating over this, but he did not look good.
No, but I mean, Cooper Kupp's made a lot of people look bad.
Yeah.
And that holding call that would have made it fourth down that they gave him a first down on, I don't blame the refs. They missed that, but I can see how it looked. I mean, it looked live, real speed. It looked like he held. It's kind of like the Treylon Burks, Arkansas versus Mississippi State. It's a similar play.
Yeah.
You got the best player on the field probably, and it looked bad.
Yeah.
Slowed down. They're human. You don't blame them for missing this and that.
Well, Clint, next question is, did they get the MVP right?
I don't think they did. I would have given it to Donald.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp may have been third. I may have even given it to Stafford.
Yeah.
Before I gave it to Kupp. But you can't look at it and complain.
I think there's good arguments for all three of those.
Yeah.
If it were me, just the momentum of that game, the feel of especially that last half, the fact that the Rams defense came out, and we've seen teams all year long. I mean, how many Kansas City games have we seen someone score in the last minute, and that the Rams defense came out there and Aaron Donald said no. And it was pretty much all Aaron Donald saying no.
Well, you get like there's a minute 23 seconds left when the Rams scored.
Yeah.
And none of this should they not, should they let them score? Should they not let them score? There's none of that. There's none. There's like, should we make the score? Like, we're going to score as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Because we trust our defense.
Yeah.
I really think in that game, I wanted to bring this point up. I think that defense kept them in it the entire time. Because it kept being like, okay, because it seemed like they had 3 or 4 possessions where they're up 4 points.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I almost said St. Louis. I'm like, the Rams aren't scoring twice.
Yeah.
They can just score one more time, it's over. And the defense just kept them in it till the offense got going.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were thinking with a minute 23 seconds, like, oh my goodness, they gave Burrow tons of time.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Burrow was going to drive down and win the game.
Yeah.
Or at least get him in position to kick a field goal.
Yeah. That's what I figured was going to happen. I thought we're about to go into overtime.
We got them to about midfield, so they weren't far.
Yeah.
But that's when Donald's like, okay, I'm going to take over the game. And Cooper Kupp, I just think Aaron Donald took over the game. That's why I think Aaron Donald should be MVP.
Yeah.
But, I can't – it's hard to argue with Cooper Kupp. Had a terrific game.
Well, in Clinton, one of the neatest stories to come out of the whole thing was Van Jefferson. You mentioned him earlier, wide receiver.
He had a good day.
A great day, I would say.
A great day.
Not only does he win the Super Bowl, but part of the way through the game, his wife goes into labor. And at the end of the game, he doesn't hang out to party on the field. He heads out to go to the hospital, and he has a new baby right after that.
Yeah.
And makes it for the birth.
Yeah, his dad, who's I believe the wide receiver coach for Arizona, was there. Well, yeah, he went like his dad and his daughter said, yeah, she went to labor in the game, and you see him, he's like sprinting, leaving the arena.
Yeah,
That's
so cool. And he tweeted out a picture of him, holding the baby on his chest. It was so cool, man. That's a neat story. You love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, that I mean, that kid will be able to tell about his birth. Yeah. I believe he had a baby boy. He'll be, about the birth, like, hey, my dad won a Super Bowl and then I was born.
Did you see the other deal was the other Ram player proposed?
I didn't see
Ram
that.
player proposed while the confetti was coming down to his girlfriend. And she said yes, which
that's good. That would have been awkward. It would have been awkward if she said no.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you just won the Super Bowl, but no.
I dropped down the knee, man. It's like, no, I'm good.
That's right. No, don't embarrass yourself. I'm just here for this game check. Now, it was highly anticipated, Clint.
Woo!
It was probably more anticipated than the whole game was. We talked about it last week.
I was excited.
We made some predictions. The halftime show. What did you think of it?
I told you I thought my favorite one was Prince.
Yes.
And I think this topped it.
Really? You think it topped it?
I think it topped it. And I saw somebody and they said, look, enough of the old people bands, they finally got something for us youngins. Like enough with the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney and the two. So finally something for us kids. Here's Dr. Dre and Eminem. The heroes. Oh crap, we're old now.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
No, I loved it. I loved it. I thought Eminem did a great job. Dr. Dre and Snoop were on their game. I'm surprised 50 Cent could still hang upside down.
But here's the deal, Clint. He's getting a hard rap. But now, if you look at him, he's muscle. Like, he's gained weight, but it's muscle weight, man. He's a thick dude.
Dude, I wish I was 50 Cent fat. You know what I'm saying?
He's in shape. First of all, just to be able to hang upside down like that and rap, because he wasn't lip sync.
You could see it. He got himself down. They didn't have like a team of people come over like, I know he hanging upside down. I need a stunt team. I need a safety rope, a 3-foot ladder.
I need a miracle.
Like, it ain't happening.
That or a really bad accident. Now, I thought the set was cool. Okay. The negatives to me.
Go ahead.
To be honest with you, was 50 Cent.
Really? I didn't mind 50 Cent.
I'm not a big fan of that song. Not a big fan of him. Kind of the mumble rap thing. I'm not a big fan of that. However, and then the Kendrick Lamar thing, that's probably, I just don't know it.
No, I didn't know it.
It's not that it was bad or anything. I just didn't know it.
No, but
I thought they did a good job of song selection. And I'll tell you a song selection that is underrated on the whole thing. And it may be one that people actually complain about. But I wasn't big on her outfit, Mary J. Blige. She looked like, that meme of Beyonce going around.
Oh, yeah.
With the stank face when she's dancing.
Yeah.
It looked like that outfit she was wearing in that. It's got the wig and everything. But anyway, Mary J. picked her most popular song, which was, that I forget what it's called, but let's get it percolating or whatever, that song. And then she did, probably the thing that was most meaningful in the halftime show, besides everything else, was she did No More Drama.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a lot of people realize, but she wrote that song because she was in an abusive relationship with a man that beat her physically. And she wrote that song for that. And then she used that to reach and help out other women that were coming out of those kind of things. So that song, of all the songs that were played, had some true meaning behind it and purpose. And she sang it beautifully. It was great. So that was kind of the slow part of it, but I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was perfect right in the middle. And then I said, look, Eminem's "Lose Yourself," great song.
Yeah.
Okay, they did "California Love." We didn't get our Tupac hologram.
No, and there's a meme going around, and it's Rick from Pawn Stars. They go, we really want a hologram Tupac. Like, best we can do is 50 Cent hanging upside down.
That's right. Yeah.
I will take it. We'll take it. No, I thought they hit it. I thought they loved it. I enjoyed watching it. You know who else enjoyed watching it, Travis?
Who's that?
Cincinnati's kicker.
That's right.
He didn't even go to the thing. And I'm gonna
He's sitting out there on the bench, just chilling, watching.
Well, kicker's not needed during that. It's not like they're going to come to him. Hey, you seen anything out there? He's like, I kicked the ball. No, there was one time when I was at Arkansas Tech University. I'm going to tell you about how not being missed. I'd overslept for a walk we had a little office line walk through. I'd overslept and I'd completely missed it. I go to Coach Mullins and I'm going to own up to it. Like, okay, I realized I missed the walkthrough. I'm really sorry. I'm like, he's not going to let me dress, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and I realized he had no idea I wasn't there. I'm like, I could tell. Like, I don't think I realized it till a couple years later. I'm like, he had no idea. I could have not walked up to him, and I could have missed that.
Yeah.
I could have never owned up to it, and he wouldn't have had a clue. He had no clue I wasn't there. Same thing with the kicker. Like, some people I know, like your old school people, may really complain about it. I'm like, it's a free kick. It was,
You had a chance to see that show.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like, okay, I could go just sit in there and watch guys stress.
A lot of times at half times in regular NFL games, or regular football games, kickers come out and stretch and kick.
Right, yeah, they won't even go to the locker room probably.
Yeah, or they'll go in there for a little bit and then they'll send them back out. So, I mean, he was probably doing what and the halftime is longer for the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, I think I heard from Walt Coleman on the Buzz, which, I mean, it's always great listening to Walt Coleman on the Buzz. But he says Super Bowl, halftimes in NFL games really aren't that long. It's like 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it's not very long. I mean, you got get there, you can talk 2 or 3 things and you got to get back out. I mean, there's not a lot of time.
No.
And so, and that's 30 minutes. So it triples.
Well, Clint. Woo, woo.
I know.
Chug.
I'm on the bus now.
The bus is rolling.
Let me have a seat.
What's that fuzz? Clint's riding in the back of the bus.
I don't have a good seat, but I've got a seat with a seat belt.
Last week, Auburn comes to town. Clint, we beat number 1.
We did.
We beat number 1.
And I'm going to tell you something. If we played that game 10 times, 5 at Auburn, Auburn win all 5 games. I'm going to tell you that right now. Arkansas would win 2, maybe 3 at home. But man, how good was that crowd? That crowd was worth 10, 15 points.
Yeah. Crowd was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was my boss was there. Another good friend of mine was there. They stormed the court, moshed about 30 minutes.
Yeah. And how about Muss going in, he had told some of the students that were waiting in line before the game that he would take his shirt off if they won. So he goes in, has to go back in the locker room, take that contraption off his arm, have someone help him take his shirt off, then stuck that contraption back on, and then goes out there. And the next day, Clint, the New York Post and TMZ are tweeting pictures of the Razorback coach shirtless with a shoulder sling, partying on the floor with all the fans.
Hey, as long as he don't wind up at a sorority house or frat house, I don't care. Have fun.
I'm all in for it.
Come on in. I
love it. I mean, when he takes his shirt off, he looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. That's understandable.
He is not a very well-built individual.
Yeah. Yeah. He said in his deal, he said, I'm not really in shape since the shoulder surgery. He said, He said, I need to lose about 5 to 7 pounds before the next time I do that. Okay. Whatever.
No, but it was a heck of a ball game. I mean, the crowd made a huge difference. And man, and that's just the thing about Arkansas fans that we should all give ourselves credit for. If you're an Arkansas fan, if you're not listening, then give us credit for this. Is when there's a game we want, and the Razorbacks give us a reason, they will stay up.
Yeah,
the entire thing. Now there could be. I think you went to the game. I wanted to go with you, and I couldn't get off work. But there's the Alabama game. I believe it was Sean Alexander. Arkansas's crowd was up like that, and he busted an 80-yard touchdown run the first play of the game.
Shad Williams, yeah.
You were at the game, correct?
Yes.
And I was one to go with
That's
you.
My first Fayetteville game ever.
Yeah, they
almost didn't go back because of that.
Yeah, I can see why. But
it was so depressing.
But it reminded me a lot of the Texas game. We're like, okay, look, y'all stay in it. We got your back.
Yeah.
And the fans had the team's back till the very, very, very bitter of the end.
No, the fans were great. And there was the controversy. People nationally were dogging us for the fans for storming the court.
They weren't. Now, I don't listen to a lot of Morning Mayhem on the Buzz anymore. Not a big fan of it, but that's, they do listen to what you want to listen to. Just because I don't like it don't mean you won't. But they weren't big on it. I'm like, look, we hadn't beat the number one team at home since 1984.
Yeah.
But I do see their point where, like, if you look at the basketball tradition of Auburn and Arkansas's got a lot bigger basketball tradition.
Well, Clint, do you know who saw that and loved it?
The recruits.
Yeah. They loved it, Clint. They loved it. They loved seeing those fans that excited. They loved seeing the players out there bouncing around, partying with them. I mean, they loved it. And that, to me, that's worth it, especially if Hunter Yurichek's willing to, of course, he just got a raise, so he's willing to pay they're willing to pay the $250,000 it costs us to do it.
Well, can you blame? I mean, yeah, if y'all don't do everything you can at Arkansas to retain Hunter Yurichek, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Hunter Yurichek gets Arkansas. He gets it. And that's one thing I will say about I'm going to count the women's basketball coach, all 4 major basketball coaches at the University of Arkansas. They get Arkansas.
Yeah, yeah.
Eric Musselman gets it. Van Horn gets it. Pittman gets it. And Neighbors gets it.
Yeah.
All of them do.
Well, Clinton, so we started off good against one Alabama team.
Well, I want to bring up Jabari Smith before
the
Alabama game. How good is Jabari Smith?
Oh, yeah, excellent. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. We're up like 8. Or, we're up pretty good. In overtime, this game's over. He hits a 3, and Tony has a hand in his face. I mean,
yeah.
You can't guard it much better than what he guarded it without fouling.
Yeah.
And he made like 2 of those. And I'm like, wow, I can see where that kid's going to be the number 1 pick. 6'10", can shoot like that out of Georgia. Man, Jabari Smith, he's going to make some
real deal.
Yeah, he's the real deal. He's the truth.
Yeah. Well, so we beat Auburn wonderfully. Then we go play Alabama. We knew this was going to be a tough game. Alabama's good. They beat Baylor. They won some big games. Okay. Note gets foul trouble. We get another guy in foul trouble, and we just can't dig out of it. We don't shoot well. The thing is, we've won some games not shooting well.
Yeah. But
Bama was just too good, and we just couldn't put it all together for that game.
No, and a lot of people might say, okay, hangover effect. Mm. Yeah, trust me. I've done a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, and and a lot of them, when you have a big bracket, you have to get up for one of them, then you got to come back down, then you got to get up. It's hard to, and that's what gets you is the getting up, going down, getting up. And so You come off Tuesday's highest of highs, and then you've got to go to Alabama, and you got to do it all over again. And that's a lot of what people talk about in the SEC football schedule is like, yeah, it's easy to beat us in a bowl game. Play Arkansas, then play Ole Miss, then play Alabama, then play Georgia, go through that murderer's row week after week after week, do that grind.
Yeah.
And that was too good. And Alabama's got a good basketball team.
Oh, yeah.
And for us to fight like we did, because we had it, I mean, we got down 12, we had every chance to quit. And the one thing I will say about this team is that they really don't quit. No. There's a toughness to them, and they get down. I think we've only been shellacked. Oklahoma beat us pretty bad in Tulsa.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we played Oklahoma again. I think we beat them. That was when we were still kind of figuring out the rotation and all that. Man, what do you think about the last play of the game? Do you think it was out on us? Or you think it was out on them?
I think it was out on them.
I do too, but, when you got to have it, and I was at work.
In the rule, the hands part of the ball.
Yeah, but it's one of them. I think I'd have left it how I called it on the court. That's one of them I wouldn't want to overturn.
Well, and I look at the momentum of the ball and where the hands were placed. And our guy's hand was going up with the ball, and the ball went that way, went straight toward out of bounds. That other one on the sideline, there was that other one on the sideline. I thought they got wrong too. It should have been out on Alabama, and they said it was out on us. But I don't want to blame that for the loss.
Oh no, and I don't think JD Notae took a good shot.
Nope.
That was not a good shot.
All the things that Muss preaches to them: using your teammates, spreading the floor, taking smart shots. He didn't do none of that. And to be honest with you, his teammates are just as much to blame because they were standing there watching him go.
Yeah.
They wasn't trying to help him out. And I think part of it because they knew what he was going to do. He was going to force something up and see what happens.
So what would you have ran?
Hmm?
What would you have wanted to happen?
I want the ball going through Jalen Williams' hands.
I would have wanted Devo to drive and hopefully dish it to Jalen. That's what I would have wanted, because I think because you didn't need a three, and Devo's got such a good, and he's getting better at it. He's got such a good, mid-range game. That's where I'd have wanted it to go. But now, I think Musselman tried a lot early in the year to run plays for Devo, and it just didn't work. So maybe that's why. But
now one guy that's getting a lot of, and we didn't have this on our list here, but I'm just throwing this out there. One guy that's taken a lot of flack from that game was Likes. He was, a lot of people were saying he was terrible. I heard some people call into the buzz, talking about how bad he played. Look, he did not play bad.
No, he did. And I think he got fouled on that last inbounds play.
Yeah, he probably did.
The guy flung him away.
Yeah.
It was.
But there was a couple plays, Clint. And what Like has done, and the reason people say, well, like I heard this one idiot called into the buzz, and he said, why is he getting minutes and people like Vanover's not getting minutes? Which, that burned me up. Okay. And I wanted to call in and say the reason he's getting minutes is because he's doing the little things without the ball that a basketball player is supposed to do. He's more willing to go guard a post player than Vanover is. And he's 5'7", and Vanover's 7'3". He's more aggressive guarding the post than our 7'3" guy is. That's why he's playing, folks. That's the simple facts of it. And there was 2 defensive plays in a row. Look, people, as you watch basketball, the trap that most people have is they watch the ball all the time. Okay, they watch whoever's got the ball, and that's it. If you want to start understanding basketball, watch what's happening away from the ball. Watch what's happening with some of those guys that are they moving around?
Are they setting up posts? Are they setting up screens? Are they helping each other out? Are they getting set up for offensive rebound? On defense, are they, while someone's guarding the ball, what's the other guys doing with their guys? Okay. Chris Like had 2 plays in a row, Clint. They were 2 of the best defensive plays I've seen in a long time in that game. And he was just being aggressive defensively. He was using his small stature to get up under people and pressure them, because they don't like it a lot of times when you do that. So I think, look, he shoots too much. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but I'm also not gonna say we should sit him. He was our next best point guard option. And I thought he did pretty well. The game was close. You lose a score like Note and what's his name? Starts with a U. Umudier, whatever.
Yeah.
If you lose like those 2, and you still have a chance to beat an Alabama at the end of the game. At Alabama. Those guys that were in there were doing something right. And Jalen Williams didn't have that great of a game.
You know what's crazy? I don't think it matters how good Alabama gets at basketball. I think Oates can win a national championship, and people go like, "That's really cool." Do you know spring football practice starts in 2 weeks?
That's right. Yeah.
They would. So, do you think it was a successful week? I put on here because it was another. Well, we're finally ranked. We're number 23.
Yeah.
So you win at home against the number 1 team. You go on the road to Alabama, lose a heartbreaker. You're ranked 23. Was it a successful week? Yes or no?
I think it was a successful week. I think if you would have told me, not even knowing what the season was going to look like, and you told me that we played Auburn and Alabama this week, and we went 1-1 against them, that's a successful week against 2 quality opponents like that. Sure, you'd love to go 2-0, but the truth of the matter is, like you said, we're playing a gauntlet, man. We're playing a tough schedule.
Well, in the SEC, their basketball's really picked up this year. You're looking at the possibility of having 2 number 1 seeds in Kentucky and Auburn.
Well, what's happened, Clint, is we've caught up with the coaches.
Yeah.
The SEC has hired, as just all the teams have done a better job hiring coaches. They've got the right coaches in there, it seems like. And they've got good coaches. And so that's, I think it was a successful week, man.
No, I love what you said about the coaches. Is the SEC, they went out and they've hired quality coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Got a Buzz Williams who's at Virginia Tech, that's who I wanted when we hired Mike Anderson. Tom Crean's coached at Indiana and he's coaching at Georgia. It's not working, but he's a name.
There's still quality coaches that know the sport.
Know the sport. We got Musselman who coached the NBA, who coached at Nevada. He proved himself there.
He wasn't as much of a known factor, but it was a reach that worked.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was a reach because he had Nevada pretty.
Well, yeah, but it was a he wasn't on a huge radar.
No, because I think a lot of people thought it was down. It was Kelvin Sampson. And I don't.
Yeah, mostly because his connections he already had with Yurchek from Houston. But a lot of folks thought it was Kelvin Sampson.
Well, who was the guy that coached the Arkansas Wings or Hawks? Was the Wings Ron Crawford?
Yeah.
I remember he hated Kevin Sampson. Hated it.
Yeah.
He's like, if they hire Sampson, this is back when he was still at Oklahoma. So if they hire him, I'm done supporting the Arkansas basketball program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't too big of a fan of him.
So Travis, what you been watching, bud? What's been on the old TV, those flat screen? Can't even say boob tube anymore because boob tubes aren't a thing. It's just a flat screen.
That's right. Yeah. Man, I haven't been I watched the latest season of Ozark.
Yeah, I'm caught up on Ozark. Really good.
That was a pretty quick watch there. And then, man, I'm a creature of habit, and I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld. Man, I love me some Seinfeld. So been watching a lot of that, and then every couple of days I'll sit down and watch 2 or 3 episodes of Andy Griffith, just because
You're a 70-year-old man. You're like
I love Andy Griffith, man. Love it.
You know what I've been watching? Number one, last Sunday I went to watch Jackass Forever. I did. I took my stepson as an excuse to go see Jackass Forever. Loved it. They're doing the same old stuff, but what they've done, they're smart. They've got some younger guys to come in.
Yeah.
They're doing like some of the more outrageous stunts that you're like, oh, it don't seem right having Johnny Knoxville out there with white hair getting ran over by a bull.
Yeah.
Now the other thing I watched, the new Prime show, Reacher.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, okay, it was one of the things like, can I watch Alan Ritchson and not think, oh, look, Thad Castle's playing Jack Reacher? Because it's kind of like Stifler, Sean William Scott. No matter what he does,
yeah,
that's Stifler. But man, he did a fantastic job. And they did a Jack Reacher movie,
that
had Tom Cruise in it. Now, if you've read the book, and I have not, and I can jump out on a limb and say you haven't either.
No, I haven't even watched any of the Reachers.
Yeah. Jack Reacher, the character, is like supposed to be 6'5", just cut up, ripped guy, ex-military guy.
Yeah.
And they did a movie with this 6'5", ripped up ex-military guy being played by Tom Cruise, who wouldn't have to have any special effects to play a hobbit in the Lord of the Rings.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, Tom Cruise is like 5'7".
Yeah.
He's like Chris Lock size.
Yeah.
And so he's supposed to be playing the 6'5". And so this guy looks a lot more like the Jack Reacher. But man, the action on it's top notch. It's based off the first book. I think there's 25 books. But it's one of them deals. I started it on Friday and I finished it Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I worked Saturday. So that'll tell you. And my wife watched it with me, and she's normally not a big TV watcher. So we've been really getting into Reacher. Man, it's a good watch. And the other one that I told you I was watching was this show on Netflix called Murderfield.
Yeah.
Now the gist of this show is it's a scripted show, but it's got a rotating guest celebrity detective every week.
Yeah.
And the celebrity detective has not seen the script and has no idea who the murderer is. So they have 3 different people that the murderer could be. Will Arnett plays the detective that stays.
Yeah.
And now I'm brain farting on the character's name.
Marshawn Lynch.
The character's name's Terry Seattle is the name.
Oh.
But the second show he has Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
As the guest. I would watch a show weekly where Will Arnett and Marshawn Lynch were buddy detectives. I mean, because everybody thinks, everybody thinks, they stereotype Marshawn Lynch because he's, I appreciate you asking. I appreciate you. They think of the guy that won't answer.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch went to Cal Berkeley.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch is a borderline genius. He's great in it. But at the end of it, they tell you whether they got it wrong or right, and they explain how they got it wrong. It's one of them deals like I didn't know what to think when I first started, and then once I got into it, it's like, ooh, this is He's got Conan O'Brien one week, Sharon Stone, Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
There's 6 episodes, but man, it's pretty good. The Marshawn Lynch is by far my favorite.
Yeah. Clint, I was seeing today, I saw a deal that had just some movies that are upcoming. And then, there's some that and a couple other places I've seen some previews, but, have you seen the new Jurassic World?
I did see a trailer for that. Yeah.
That looks pretty good. And then I'm all in on this. I think it's on Peacock or Paramount One. It's like a Lord of the Rings.
I saw that. I think it. I don't remember which app it's on, but yeah,
It's like Before the Ring or something like that, or like. Anyway, man, that I'm excited about that because I got a student at school. She's been watching the Lord of the Rings for the first time. She's never watched them before. She's like a 9th, 10th grade or something like that, and so she's always asking me questions about it because I was a big Lord of the Rings fan, and so. Then I said, and so I'd been thinking about going back and watching some of those anyway. And then now they're going to do this deal. I'm pretty pumped about that. That'll be fun to watch.
So I'm going to ask you, we've been best friends since what, 6th grade?
Yeah.
So in 6th grade, let me do a quick math here. So we've been about 11, 12.
Yeah.
33 years. So we've been best friends for 33. I'm going to ask you something I've never asked you. Do you like Batman? Do you? Do you like Batman?
I do.
Are you excited about the new Batman movie?
I am.
Okay.
Now I'm more of a Superman than Batman. Like everybody talks about who's the better superhero. I'm a Superman guy, but I like the Batman movies. I like the, some of the different ones. I've always liked them pretty well. So
I say this like the actual plot of a Batman movie is realistic.
Yeah.
But like Superman, it's like, okay, Superman's not realistic. It's just not. And that was, when I was talking about Reacher, about the one problem I have is when Tom Cruise gets in a fight with 3 guys. Okay, Tom Cruise may lose to one of these guys. If you got freaking, big meat tower like Thad Castle. You're like, oh, Thad Castle's going to kill this little guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
now, Clint, you say Superman's not realistic, but if you believe in aliens, it is. Come on now, come from a planet, and hey, it could happen.
If you're going to go watch a Marvel DC movie, and you're going for the realism of the movie, you're going for the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah.
You got to suspend reality.
You got to check out a reality.
Yeah, you do. I mean,
and another one I saw, they're a new Thor, which is going to have the Guardians of the Galaxy in it. That'll be an interesting one. New Black Panther without Chadwick Boseman. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that. There's a lot of talk of his sister taking on being the next Black Panther. And that actress is an interesting story. She's a kind of a nobody that got that part and stole the show kind of in the first Black Panther and has kind of won over a lot of people's hearts. And she's a interesting person. So that might be kind of neat. So there's some interesting stuff coming out, but man, like I said, I'm a creature of habit. Give me some Andy Griffith, give me some Seinfeld, some Office, some Parks and Rec, and I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. Now we've made it through another one. Now, what is this 48, 49?
This is 49.
49. We are 3 weeks away from our 1-year anniversary.
Right.
It's like, man, it's flown by, hasn't it?
That's right.
I mean, when me and you first started talking about this, we can talk about this more on our 1 year or so, but this isn't. I mean, it's been fun to see how it's evolved and the different roles that we take on and we've done it. But it's been a pleasure doing this with you.
It has been. And that's maybe the theme of that 50th show. What's our anniversary gift to each other?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
What's our hypothetical anniversary gift? If we no limitations, what would we gift each other? There we go.
There you go. Yeah. there's ideas, but yeah, let us know, like, share, subscribe.
Please
send us ideas that you want to hear us talk about. There's something you want us to talk about. Do it. Send us ideas. Gabe, get that first like. I mean, first view, first comment.
That's right. But Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're there. YouTube,
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only. Look up my profile there.
DMs are open.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. So follow us on those, like us, whatever else, and share with others, man. But Clint, it's been great.
Boom.
We got some more great Razorback games coming up.
Got through it with Iron Sheik.
Where the Iron Sheik is rolling. We got football's over with, but there's still going to be drama. There's still going to be talk. There's still football season never ends.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's already drama. Like Kyler Murray's unfollowed the Cardinals.
Yep.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Like apparently the Packers are all in to build a championship team for Aaron Rodgers, but they're $50 million over the cap.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But seriously, y'all, thank you so much for listening to us, for watching us. Clint, you the man.
You're the man.
Have a great week. And be great, people. Be great. Peace.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. In a